Good day everyone, we are the Group 2 presenters which will tackle and discuss the role of a leadership. To start with this discussion, we need to know what is leadership. According to McKinsey 2022, leadership is a set of behaviors used to help people align their collective direction, to execute strategic plans, and to continually renew an organization. In short, ang leadership po ay ang pagkakaroon ng kakayahan na mamuno sa kanyang pinamumunuan. Kumbaga, ito yung proseso na mayroong maglilid sa iyo, may mag-guide, magbibigay ng influence through good behaviors para ma-accomplish mo yung mga specific goals mo na gusto mong ma-achieve. Here are some types of leadership. First is strategic leadership. Etong leadership pong ito is sila yung way para mas gumaling pa yung marurunong na members. Second is democratic leadership. Ito namang leadership naman pong ito is yung makikinig sila sa mga opinion and ideas ng member. And third is autocratic leadership. Dito naman po is kung ano yung decision or idea ng namumuno, yun yung susundin. Kumbaga, gawin mo yung utos ko, no more, no buts. And lastly is transactional leadership. Sila naman yung nagbibigay ng motivation para matapos agad ang kanya-kanyang task. Kumbaga dito may premyo ka, like bonus, groceries, and money. Ang babae pong nasa screen is si Professor Yolanda Moses, Professor of Anthropology at the University of California, Riverside. According to her, she sees institutional types and their relationship to diversity in 3 different categories. So, ang first category po is where institutions talk about diversity and inclusion in their catalogs and brochure. Ano ba yung sinasabi or pinag-uusapan nila? Ito yung diversity and inclusion. Ano ba yung tinatawag na diversity? So, ang diversity nga daw po ay ang nag-aalaw sa mga tao na may iba't ibang background, characteristics, and way of thinking na makapagtrabaho ng maayos at matiwasay, while the inclusion naman po is tumutukoy sa mga procedures na ipinapatupad ng organizations para pagsamasamahin or pagbuklodin ang mga employee sa kanilang workplace. Second category is also known as Random Act of Diversity and Inclusion. So, itong category naman pong ito is yung maraming program for diversity and inclusion, ngunit nagtatrabaho sila ng hiwa-hiwalay. Third category is also known as aspirational diversity. Itong category naman po ay yung magpapaintindi sa iyo ng iyong ambition and at the same time to strive higher than oneself. So, Professor Yolanda came up with some criteria of what a stage 3 institutional would look like. First is willing to undergo paradigm shift. So, itong criteria naman pong ito ay nag-i-include ng comprehensive institutional change strategy or yung patterns ng organizational action para sa transformation ng institution. Ito po ay nakakatulong din in terms of thinking and reformulating kung ano yung core institutional commitment.
So, thinking and service will be looked at through a critical framework. In other words, the status quo will not get us where we want to be. So, ibig sabihin nun, kailangan as a mother or as a leader, marunong tayong mag-isip ng ayos at alam natin yung mga ginagawa natin desisyon. Like status quo. Status quo kasi pag sinabing status quo, it is your life now. Kumbaga, ito yung kalagayan mo, ito yung anong meron ka ngayon. And yung mga ganong isipin, kumbaga iniisip natin, okay na to, ito na yung buhay ko, maayos naman ako. Hindi tayo mag-uunlad or hindi tayo uunlad sa mga gusto natin. So, we need to think about break the status quo. Kailangan natin as a leader, alam natin kung paano lalabas sa comfort zone natin. Pag sinabing, hindi ko to kaya, no, kaya mo yan, kakayanin mo yan para mag-grow ka. As a leader, kailangan open-minded ka on how you will gain knowledge from something na hindi mo alam at tinry mo para matutunan mo. So, fourth is focus on who are your students are and how do they learn. So, we need to equip on how we will help each other. Kumbaga, paano natin matutulungan yung sarili natin and yung mga students. Kumbaga, kailangan meron tayong give and take relationship with our students. Kailangan kilala natin sila and kilala natin yung sarili natin. Even though, yes, alam ng mga students na, yes, si sir is ahead sa atin and alam naman natin na mahihirapan tayong abutin yung rurok ng kaalaman niya. So, as a teacher or as a leader, we must know on how we were going to suit ourselves to other people. Kumbaga, ibababa natin yung sarili natin para mas matuto sila sa atin. Not to the point na pinaparehas natin, but at the same time, ginagawa mo yung lahat ng paraan. Kasi kilala mo yung mga students mo. Mga estudyante yan, malamang hindi nila alam yung dapat ituturo mo. Kaya nga, dapat alam natin kung paano natin makikipag-communicate sa isang tao. Not unlike na halimbawa, galing ka ng ibang bansa and pumunta ka sa indigenous people, alam mo naman mga tao din yung mga nagtatagalog at hindi nakakaintindi ng English, kailangan, hindi dapat mag-i-English ka doon kasi papakita mo na magaling ka. Not that. Kasi, alam mo yung dinatinan mo, alam mo yung capabilities of learning nila, dapat mag-a-adjust ka dun sa environment and dun sa mga students mo. Kaya dapat, ibababa natin yung sarili natin para mas maraming matuto sa atin. So, fifth is that service we provide to our communities and stakeholders for all those in our communities are just some. A shift of these frames means that our roles of research, teaching, and service are then organically tied to the needs of all people, especially the vulnerable ones of our student and staffs. So, dito, yung service or yung service as a leader or a teacher must about for the communities and for the stakeholders para mas matulungan natin yung community natin. And yun yung mga kailangan natin ginagawa eh. So, sabi nga, a shift of these frames means that the roles of research, teaching, and service are then organically tied the needs of all people. Kumbaga, yung pagtiteach or pagtuturo ay talagang akaibat na dun yung pagtuturo sa ibang tao para mas mag-grow yung community natin. Kaya, dapat alam natin kung paano tayo makikibagay sa ibang tao. So, what is the role of leadership? In the strategic plan, inclusion and diversity, it is a value given explicit emphasis in our statement and purpose in this affirmation that we should be a community for a people from a wide variety of social and cultural backgrounds that focus on it is a commitment that every person in the community has a commitment to make sure and should valued and empowered to make that contribution. Kumbaga, kailangan alam natin sa sarili natin na kailangan natin mag-contribute. Kasi, we are a community. Kasi, ang community natin, nag-grow lang siya dahil maraming tao. Magkakaiba tayong tao at magkakaiba tayo ng kakayahan. And because of that difference, magkakaroon tayo ng interaction and communication para mag-grow. Imbis na alam lang niya yung alam niya, meron din akong alam na pwede kong i-share sa kanya para magkaroon ng kumbaga, this is a commitment. Kumbaga, ang teacher is committed to teach students. And those students na magiging future teachers or future doctor will be committed on how they will share their knowledge and experiences para mag-grow yung community and para magpatuloy yung community natin na dumadaloy.
So, on leadership, plan says that we are committed to a series of actions to strengthen the skills of staff in formal leadership positions and in particular develop their capacity as agents of cultural change. Here, it says that we are committed in a series of actions, for example, a leadership retreat. Isa to sa mga commitments or leadership opportunities na tutulong sa atin na ma-develop yung skills and capability natin through training, workplace project coaching, at iba pang types of support. So, cultural competence is the ability to participate ethnically and effectively in personal and professional intercultural settings. It requires being aware of one's own cultural values and worldview and their implications for making respectful, reflective, and reasoned choices, including the capacity to imagine and collaborate across cultural boundaries. So, cultural competence is all about valuing diversity, pagpapahalaga sa race, ethnicity, ability, gender that brings richness and creativity in our society. Interorganizational learning cultural competence. Interorganizational culture occurs in the overlapping areas between organizations in a cultural perspective of fragmentation. It can be seen as a culture of intersection because of the association of cultural perspective between suppliers and customers. Nangyayari ang interorganizational culture sa magkakapatong na bahagi between organization in a fragmented view. Fragmented means unstable and never clear but always muddled and opaque.
What is a culturally competent organization? When we talk about culture, culture is the shared tradition, belief, customs, history, folklore, and institutions of group of people shared by people of the same ethnicity, language, nationality, or religion. Our environment determines what we learn, how we learn it, and the rules of living with others. The rules are transmitted from one generation to the next and are often adapted to the times and the local. The rules are absorbed by children as they develop, whether the word of mouth or just osmosis. And when we talk about organization have culture of policies, procedures, programs, and processes, and incorporate certain values, belief, assumption, and customs. Organizational cultures large the echo menstruum culture in its sense of time orientation, perception, and use of time. A culturally competent organization brings together knowledge about different groups of peoples and transform it into standards, policies, and practices that makes everything work.
Cultural principles. Number one, valuing diversity means accepting and respecting differences between and within cultures. Valuing diversity. Valuing diversity includes celebrating individual differences and engaging with others in dignified manner. Recognizing the importance of diversity goes beyond appreciating the needs for individuals of various age, gender, race, and ethnicities in your organization. It is important to value diversity because people build a stronger sense of identity and well-being and have better education and career outcomes when their diverse strength, ability, and interests and perspective are understood and supported. Number two, conducting cultural self-assessment. The most important action to be conscious of are usual the ones we take for granted. Leaders who are self-aware are better able to recognize and manage their own emotion, which can help them respond more effectively to difficult situations and conflicts. This can improve their ability to lead and manage others as they better able to react to challenge or change in positive, less disruptive ways. Leader needs to evaluate themselves in order to uncover their points of strength and areas of weakness on a regular basis. Self-evaluation helps leader to see how far they are from achieving goals. It is also provides a guidance to plan for what needs to be improved on personal and professional aspect. Number three, understanding the dynamics of differences means organization have some work to do. It must be aware of this dynamic in order to be newly effective. It means that the team member trust each other, are ready to work collectively, provide support and productivity, brainstorm ideas, and listen to other group members. In groups with positive dynamics, team members feel comfortable sharing their ideas and having a constructive dialogue. Inclusion and diversity is much more than just individual ethnic background. It is also includes age, gender, sexual orientation, regional, personal bases. This program is designed to introduce participants to the importance and value of inclusion and having a diverse workforce. Understanding the challenge in implementing inclusion and diversity programs and how to go effectively socializing and creating such a program will be covered. Institutionalizing cultural knowledge. Cultural knowledge should be integrated into every phase of an organization. Cultural knowledge means that you know about some cultural characteristic history, values, beliefs, and behaviors of another ethnic or cultural group. Cultural awareness is the next stage of understanding other groups, being open to the idea of changing cultural attitudes. Cultural awareness help us break down the cultural barriers, build cultural bridge, and learn how to love and appreciate the different from us. We can relate better to people with cultural differences as we begin to understand ourselves better. This result is more cultural connection and less cultural compete. Adapting to diversity. Values, behavior, attitude, practices, policies, and the structure that make it possible for cross-cultural communication guide a culturally competent organization. A diversity adaptive society it means accepting people who are different from oneself or being more inclusive in accepting of student, athletes or colleagues regarding of color, national origin, race, religion, sex or sexual orientation. Learning about other cultures helps us understand different perspective within the world in which we live. It helps dispel negative stereotypes and personal biases about different groups. In addition, cultural diverse helps us recognize and respect way of being that are not necessarily our own.
Why is it important to be culturally competent?
We are all affected by increasing globalization, and it brings different benefits in community. Diversity brings in a new ideas and experiences, and people can learn from each other and bring in different ideas and perspective leads to better problem solving. Next, the world is filled with people who have different cultures and way of living, but diversity gives us opportunity to become one. We are able to contact different people in our community and learn their cultures. That's why it is important to be culturally competent as it brings success in our work and it unites us. Different benefits of building an organization's cultural competence. First, it helps the people understand each other despite of their differences and it builds respect. Second, it creates creativity through sharing each other's viewpoint and knowledge. Next, it gives courage to other cultural group to participate because they feel welcome and belong. It also increases trust and
Factors affecting organization culture. Culture represents the beliefs, ideologies, policies, practices of an organization. It gives the employees a sense of direction and also controls the way they behave with each other. The work culture brings all the employees on a common platform and unites them at the workplace. Culture. Ito ang isa sa mga nagsisilbing gabay at nagtuturo sa atin ng tamang gawain. Kinakatawan nito ang kultura ng ideolohiya maging ng tamang paniniwala ng isang organisasyon. Nagbibigay ito ng direksyon sa bawat isa lalo na sa mga empleyado. Sa pamamagitan kasi nito mas nahuhubog ang ating isipan na mas magpatuloy pa sa mga kontrol ng iba't ibang ugali sa isa't isa. The first and the foremost factor affecting culture is the individual working with the organization. The employees in their own way contribute to the culture of the workplace. The sex of the employee also affects the organization culture. Organizations where the male employees dominate the female counterparts follow a culture where late seating is normal feature. Bilang isang mag-aaral, mahalaga na maunawaan natin ito. Kapag nakilala na natin ang pagkatao ng bawat isa, mas magiging madali ang proseso ng maaaring makaapekto sa organisasyon ng kultura. For example, merong organisasyon na inuuna ang mga lalaki dahil sa tingin nila ang mga lalaki ang unang makakatulong para sa mas mag-improve ang bawat isa. Mapoproteksyonan ng mga lalaki ang mga bawat babae kasi may malambot na puso. Like for example, may isa sa tao lang na magsabi sa'yo ay pagbibigyan mo agad. Kapag nasanay na tayo na mag-isa, mas magiging madali na lang ang pagproseso ng lahat na matuto tayong sumunod sa patakaran ng kultura. The nature of the business also affects the culture of the organization. Stockbroking industries, financial services, banking industry are all dependent on external factors like demand and supply, market cap, earning per share, and so on. The nature of the business, epekto ng kultura sa organisasyon ay ang industriya ng stockbroking. Dito natin malalaman kung kailan ba natin na maghanap ng new product na papatok sa mga tao. Kaya we need to check every product if it's quality or not. Financial service, matuto ng mag-ipon na wag madaliing bumili ng mga produkto na hindi naman kailangan. Try to compute before buy it. When it comes in banking industry, dito nakasalalay ang demand and supply, ang bawat kita ng bawat isa. The culture of the organization is also affected by its goals and objectives. The strategies and procedures designed to achieve the target of the organization also contribute to its culture. The culture organization is also affected by its goals and objectives. May proseso sa lahat ng bagay. Always make a plan A and plan B. Kung gusto natin na ma-achieve ang target organizations, and yes, I know hindi madali ito, pero kung gugustuhin natin, magagawa natin ito. The clients and the external parties to some extent also affect the work culture of the place. Organization catering to UK and US. Clients have no other option but to work in shifts to match their timings, thus forming the culture. The clients and the external parties in UK and US clients, no choice. No choice sila kung di ang magtrabaho sila, tiisin lahat para lamang makuha ang nararapat para sa kanila. Malaki ang epekto ng trabaho sa kultura. Nakasanayan na kasi kung paano mag-manage ng oras. The management and its style of handling the employees also affect the culture of the workplace. There are certain organizations where the management allows the employees to take their own decision and let them participate in the strategy making. The management and its styles of handling the employees. In this situation, it allows the management to communicate it properly to the employees para makapag-decide ng tama at ipaalam ng kailangan, makipag-participate to make sure na ang mga detalye ay tama.